What were you doing at 8 p.m. last night?
I was watching a movie at 8 p.m. last night.
Were you studying when I called you yesterday?
Yes, I was studying when you called me yesterday.
What was she doing when the power went out?
She was cooking dinner when the power went out.
Were they playing soccer in the park yesterday afternoon?
Yes, they were playing soccer in the park yesterday afternoon.
What was he doing at the time of the accident?
He was driving to work at the time of the accident.
Were you sleeping when the alarm rang?
No, I was not sleeping when the alarm rang.
What were you reading last night?
I was reading a novel last night.
Was it raining when you left the house this morning?
No, it was not raining when I left the house this morning.
What were they talking about when you arrived?
They were talking about their holiday plans when I arrived.
Was your brother playing video games when you got home?
Yes, my brother was playing video games when I got home.
Were you having dinner when I called you?
Yes, I was having dinner when you called you.
What was the teacher explaining when you entered the class?
The teacher was explaining a math problem when I entered the class.
Were they working on the project all night?
Yes, they were working on the project all night.
What were you doing when the phone rang?
I was reading a book when the phone rang.
Was it snowing while you were traveling?
Yes, it was snowing while we were traveling.
Were you playing outside when it started raining?
No, we were not playing outside when it started raining.
What were you and your friends doing yesterday evening?
We were watching a movie at my place yesterday evening.
Was your sister studying when you left the house?
Yes, my sister was studying when I left the house.
Were they waiting for the bus when you saw them?
Yes, they were waiting for the bus when I saw them.
What was the cat doing when you came home?
The cat was sleeping on the sofa when I came home.
Were you exercising at the gym this morning?
Yes, I was exercising at the gym this morning.
What were you doing during the meeting?
I was taking notes during the meeting.
Were they practicing for the concert last night?
Yes, they were practicing for the concert last night.
What was she wearing at the party?
She was wearing a red dress at the party.
Was your father working late last night?
Yes, my father was working late last night.
Were you listening to music when I knocked on the door?
Yes, I was listening to music when you knocked on the door.
What were you eating for lunch yesterday?
I was eating a sandwich for lunch yesterday.
Was the dog barking when you came home?
Yes, the dog was barking when I came home.
Were they celebrating their anniversary last week?
Yes, they were celebrate anniversary last weekend.
What were you discussing with your teacher?
I was discussing my project with my teacher.
Were you watching TV when I called?
No, I was not watching TV when you called.
What was your brother doing when you arrived?
My brother was playing video games when I arrived.
Were you feeling sick yesterday?
Yes, I was feeling sick yesterday.
What were they building next to your house?
They were building a new playground next to my house.
Was she waiting for you at the station?
Yes, she was waiting for me at the station.
Were you planning a trip when I saw you?
Yes, we were planning a trip when you saw me.
What were you doing at the park yesterday?
I was jogging at the park yesterday.
8. Was your friend visiting you last weekend?
Yes, my friend was visiting me last weekend.
Were they cleaning the house when you called?
Yes, they were cleaning the house when you called.
What was she saying during the argument?
She was expressing her concerns during the argument.
1. Were you making breakfast when the power went out?
Yes, I was making breakfast when the power went out.
2. What were you doing in the library?
I was studying in the library.
3. Was it raining when you reached home?
Yes, it was raining when I reached home.
Were they discussing a new project in the meeting?
Yes, they were discussing a new project in the meeting.
5. What was your mother cooking when you got home?
My mother was cooking pasta when I got home.
6. Were you reading a book when I called?
Yes, I was reading a book when you called.
7. Was your sister painting when you arrived?
Yes, my sister was painting when I arrived.
8. Were you playing the guitar at the party?
Yes, I was playing the guitar at the party.
What was he doing at the beach?
He was swimming at the beach.
Were you dancing at the wedding?
Yes, I was dancing at the wedding.
What were they discussing when you walked in?
They were discussing the new project when I walked in.
Was it snowing when you woke up?
Yes, it was snowing when I woke up.
Were you writing an email when I entered the room?
Yes, I was writing an email when you entered the room.
What was she wearing at the party?
She was wearing a beautiful dress at the party.
Were they repairing the car when you saw them?
Yes, they were repairing the car when I saw them.
What were you drinking when you were at the cafe?
I was drinking coffee when I was at the cafe.
Was your father gardening when you left the house?
Yes, my father was gardening when I left the house.
Were you studying at the library last night?
Yes, I was studying at the library last night.
What was the dog doing when you arrived?
The dog was sleeping when I arrived.
Were you practicing piano when I knocked on the door?
Yes, I was practicing piano when you knocked on the door.
Was she baking a cake when you visited her?
Yes, she was baking a cake when I visited her.
Were they decorating the hall for the event?
Yes, they were decorating the hall for the event.
What were you wearing at the concert?
I was wearing a blue shirt at the concert.
Was it getting dark when you left the office?
Yes, it was getting dark when I left the office.
Were you jogging in the park this morning?
Yes, I was jogging in the park this morning.
What were they doing at the mall?
They were shopping at the mall.
Was the sun setting when you arrived at the beach?
Yes, the sun was setting when I arrived at the beach.
Were you listening to music when I called?
Yes, I was listening to music when you called.
What were you talking about with your friend?
I was talking about our summer.